Hello there, welcome to another episode of World of Tanks with Ungainly Titan. I wasn't really going to talk about this, but I did manage to actually play and complete a completion for the Clash of Titans operation, and today is Monday, the day after the Clash of Titans, the weekend of the Clash of Titans operation, and I went onto the forum and there was quite a lot of people disgruntled and quite a lot of threads disgruntled about the operation. Now this is actually pretty normal. I haven't read through all or even most of the posts relating to the disgruntlement concerning the operation. Initially I wasn't even planning to play the Clash of Titans operation. I was actually thinking originally I wouldn't have the opportunity to play it, because I knew I was going to be putting up the second half video of the Peninsula, the Neverwinter Nights walkthrough, and that takes me about 24 hours to upload it or more, depending on how long those walkthroughs are, and they actually take quite a bit of time to prep as well, so I didn't actually play much World of Tanks last week. I also was planning to do the review of the Five Tribes review, and I knew that would take a lot of work as well, and I didn't quite know how much, because there was a lot of new stuff that I was trying out, like green screen photography and editing photographs to remove backgrounds and various other things like that I just wanted to try out. And I was trying it out on the cheap as well, because I don't want to spend money that I don't have to. This channel doesn't make any money. I'm not into photography as a hobby. I just wanted to try it out from a kind of a video editing standpoint. And I thought it worked reasonably well actually, and I'm reasonably pleased with the results, even though they are a bit on the crude and rude side in comparison to the sophistication that could be done with a little bit better materials and a bit more practice and a bit better effort on my part. So yesterday on Sunday I sat down to play some World of Tanks, and then I noticed that the Clash of Titans operation was still up. It was the operation, sort of mandatory operation of the period. And I didn't even know what the prizes were, but I knew that it was seemed to be a completions, the more completions you do. It was Soviet Union versus China, and it was one of those type of things. Turns out it's not even for a free tank. You get a bunch of goodies that would otherwise cost money, and some kind of a surprise if you're on the winning side. However, I started it anyway, and I got the first 6 points handily enough. I can't remember exactly. I think I was playing the Churchill 3 and I picked up a high caliber, and I was playing something else and I picked up I think it was either a fighter and a high caliber or a defender and a high caliber, something along those lines anyway. So I had the first 6 points easily enough, and then nothing. So I started playing I think around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and coming on to around 5 I think it was up to about 8 points, but I wasn't getting anywhere. Of course it didn't help for the first hour or so. I didn't realise that the Capture KV-1 wasn't eligible. It's not considered a Soviet tank, it's a German tank, despite the fact that it was made in the Soviet Union. The only thing German about it is the gun and the paintwork, and I had a Russian crew on it as well. The Russian crew from the A44, I think, which I hope never again to see. Didn't like that tank, but I have upgraded it to whatever the next thing is. I can't remember, but I just need to train. The crew are almost trained to transfer over. However, that's an aside and beside the point. So back to the business of the operation, and yeah, it was very frustrating. And I mean, I really got frustrated, but it also kicked off my stubborn streak, so I had to complete it. I was at it for hours, I think 12 hours, 13 hours. It was like 3:30 in the morning by the time I finished and got the final completion with a sniper on the Rudy, T-34-85 Rudy. But without specifically going on and seeing what specifically people are complaining about the forums, my chief complaints about it really is that it's just random. They might as well just declare a raffle, or say if you, I don't know, get 20,000 experience over the 3 days, you're eligible for a raffle or something like that, and then just give it out on the basis of the raffle, and people will probably be less upset by it than they are by the current operation. And Wargaming have a history. I mean, they've been experimenting, and I think the recent ones they've decided on for the tank operations is actually not a bad model. I mean, their original model was straight XP, as far as I remember. One of them was straight XP, and you had to do so much experience accumulated in a series of chained operations. So you started out with like I don't know, 20,000 XP over 4 days, and then it became 80,000, 40,000, 80,000, 40,000, 80,000, 160,000, 320,000, that sort of thing. And that was tedious. I mean, it was a chore. It turned into a chore towards the end, particularly, I can't remember, the CDC was the first one. I don't remember the CDC being that bad, but there was an operation after that where they used the same method, and it was really, really tedious because they increased the amount of XP that you needed to get to achieve the final stage of the op. And I remember doing it, but it was like work. You were playing for a fair amount of time every day just to complete enough experience to do the same thing the following day, to complete enough experience so that you'd have the required amount of experience on at the end of the operation. Now, obviously, if you were a really good player, that was a lot easier because you get higher average experience per tank, and you also, if you're a good player, you're probably very good at high level tanks. So you've got tier 10 tanks where you learn a lot more experience as well. Now, in my case, I'd probably learn less experience on tier 10 tanks because I'm not as good at them than I would, say, on tier 7, tier 8 tanks, tier 6 to tier 8 tanks, for instance. Certainly on the tier 8 tanks, I might earn more average experience per game than I might on a tier 10 tank. They then replaced that for a later game for the Hammer. The Hammer was a good player. It was a system that rewarded consistently skilled players, rather than necessarily inconsistently skilled players, shall we say. So if you were consistently in the top 5 or the top 10 on your team, you could actually complete that up pretty quickly. But if you were not that good, you could find yourself up at 11 points to 15 needed for completion. Find yourself up at 11 points, then falling all the way back down to 1 or 2 or nothing. It was that kind of a system again. And finally, they settled for the current system that they've been using for tank ops, which is if you're in the top 5, you get a point, and the closer you are, number 1 gets the most. 3 is it, I think. 2, 1, something like that. They decided this time to try something different, and what they've tried, obviously, if you haven't been on the forums or been on the game over the weekend, was that they're giving points for medals. So you're getting a point for sniper, a point for a fighter medal, I think was it maybe 2 points for fighter, points for high caliber, top gun, an invader, defender, Brothers in Arms, crucial contributions, so there's the platooning ones, and a couple of other things, I can't remember now exactly. Demolition Expert, I think, gets you a point. Patrol Duty would get you a point. The problem with those medals is, by and large, those medals are pretty damn random. I mean, okay, yes, there's a certain amount of skill in the sense that if you can get 4 kills fairly consistently, then you're a very good player, but I think you're probably considerably better than average if you can land 4 kills on a fairly consistent basis. I definitely seem to have trouble doing that sort of thing, and what I've noticed, now I can't say that my shall we say selection is scientific, but I have watched a few YouTube players. Now I mostly watch the Beard guys, but the YouTube videos that I've watched is a lot of people don't get Top Guns and fighters on a regular basis. I think you see a lot more Top Guns and fighters when you're watching PC YouTubers, because PC YouTubers are cherry picking games with high levels of kills. They can do it because you have whatever hundreds of thousands of players that are playing it on the PC, and they can go on to the replay servers and they can just pick out videos, or they can go onto the list of people that have linked to send them videos, because the people who are sending them videos generally will have pretty high damage and high kill matches, and they're cherry picking in favour of people who have done high kills and high damage. But the majority of games that I play in, and the majority of games that I see, don't have people getting 4 kills. It's rare enough, and Top Guns are even rarer. Now, that said, I've only played the platoons I don't know, a dozen times maybe. But I still have 2 or 3 crucial contributions, so it seems to me crucial contributions are not that actually difficult to obtain. That's 3 kills between members of a platoon, and a 3 or 4 man or 5 man platoon could pick up 3 kills. Should be able to pick up 3 kills pretty much every game they play. Otherwise, why are they playing a platoon? They're getting no synergy out of their gameplay if they can't pick up 3 kills, 6 kills out of 6 kills between them. So yeah, 6 kills between the members of the platoon. So if a platoon isn't picking up 6 kills between the members of the platoon, I think it's a rather ineffective platoon in my own opinion. That would be for the bigger platoons. Obviously with 2 players it's a bit harder. It's 3 kills apiece. But it's still easier than it would be with only when you're playing on your own. Because at least even with 2 players you're coordinated on TeamSpeak or Skype or whatever, or even the Microsoft Play channel, and you're coordinating, so you just talk to each other and you focus fire, and someone of the 2 of you is more than likely going to get the kill. So therefore I think crucial contribution, or Brothers in Arms, sorry, is fairly straightforward to pick up. Crucial contribution with 12 kills is much more problematic exercise, and I wouldn't expect that to be common at all. So I think that's a couple of points against it. It's pretty much random. Even stuff like Defender and Invader are random in the sense that you have to accumulate an awful lot of capture points, or you have to burn up, in terms of defending a base, a lot of capture points to get a Defender medal. You have to accumulate a lot of capture points, somewhere in the region of 80 capture points, to accumulate an Invader medal. So even if you are in a team and the team caps, once there's somebody else in there with you for more than 20% of the cap time, you're not going to get your Invader medal. So that itself is very, very problematic. So it's really a question. It's more of a question of random luck, with the possible exception of some of the platoon-based stuff. An arsonist, demolition expert is completely random. I mean, I've seen people put 6 rounds into the ammo rack of an E75 on a YouTube video and they didn't get an ammo rack. Whereas I shot out the lower front plate of a Carnarvon once on highway, and because your man swung the tank sideways, I actually put it through that little hatch, a little spot on the left hand side as if you're sitting in the Carnarvon, where the ammo rack was, and blew the thing up from full health to nothing. Ammo racked in the first shot. And that was pure luck. I mean, it had nothing to do with skill. I wasn't even trying for it. I couldn't even see it when I pulled the trigger. It just, that's the way it happened. So a lot of the stuff in this op is not really within the control of the player. Yes, you can pick up some of these things, but you can't guarantee them. I mean, even if you played artillery or played SU-152s or ISU-152s with the big alpha guns at the end, you still can't guarantee a high caliber, because just because you did 6,000 damage wouldn't stop somebody else from doing sufficiently close. Because I think it's not just the highest damage, it has to be more than a certain percentage of the overall damage. So there's a lot of guns where people got the highest damage, and they might even have the highest damage by a substantial margin, but they don't have a sufficient amount of damage to cross the other thresholds that make it a high caliber. So high caliber doesn't occur every match. It only occurs under certain conditions, and that sort of stuff makes it feel outside of the player's control. And I think one of the things that you really need is the players need to feel they're in control. Although, you know, even if it's just an illusion, I mean, people don't complain that much about 3-card trick merchants or shell games or guys throwing hoops at a carnival, even though you know you have no chance of winning, because you feel it's in your control. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you found the video interesting, and if you did, please give it a like. If you haven't already done so, please consider giving the channel a subscription. I will catch you all again soon. Bye.